Welcome. My name is Brandon. Please join me on this tour of Skyline Plaza in Albert Lea, Minnesota. Oh, I'm sorry. Please pardon me a sec while I wipe off my shoes. Thank you. Let's continue. Albert Lea is the last large town off of Interstate 35 before crossing the Iowa border. I-35 runs through the town north to south, while Interstate 90 runs west to east. 58 miles to the west of Albert Lea is the Five Lakes Center Mall in Fairmont, Minnesota. Please feel free to check out my video of that mall. A mere 20 miles to the east was Oak Park Mall in Austin, Minnesota. Oak Park Mall was the reason I started filming malls. I drove through Austin on May 23rd, 2020 on a road trip to Rochester. While driving through, I had to stop for a break. We went to Hy-Vee. We got out of the car and I felt a weird mix of excitement and sadness. I recognized the place from photographs and YouTube. We were at the site of the former Oak Park Mall. I recalled a news story of a mall in Alexandria, Minnesota with an uncertain future. I checked YouTube and found that nobody had made a video tour of that mall. 5 weeks later, I was at Viking Plaza in Alexandria filming my first mall video. Here we are coming up on the entrance to the former Walmart. You can't see the entrance anymore, but if you look at this corner and fire extinguisher, you can see them in this photograph from 2013. And here is how this looked in 2013 when the entrance was closed but not yet sealed. We can see the Walmart through the doorway. Okay, on to the history of Skyline Plaza. The mall opened as Skyline Mall in 1966. It originally had 3 anchors, with Montgomery Ward on the west, JCPenney on the east, and an IGA grocery store on the north. Looking at the mall today, you might think it only had 2 anchors, as the north anchor is now a collection of smaller tenants. The hallways to the remaining anchors were closed off and then removed by the mid-2010s. The mall seemed to be doing all right until the 1980s. Montgomery Ward and IGA left early in the decade. Then, in 1987, the Northbridge Mall opened 7 miles away. It also did not help that Skyline was no longer on a major road after the opening of 2 major freeways. After the completion of I-35 and I-90 in the 1970s, one could take Interstate 90 to get to Northbridge instead of driving through downtown Albert Lea to get to Skyline. JCPenney's left the eastern anchor in the 1990s and was replaced by Rainbow Foods, which became a Nelson's Market, and today is Marketplace Foods. Walmart replaced Montgomery Ward in the late 1980s and left nearly 2 decades later. The anchor sat vacant for over 12 years before Baumgar's opened in 2016. Baumgar's is a retail chain of farm and ranch supplies headquartered out of Sioux City, Iowa. As of April 2021, they have 7 locations in Minnesota. After visiting this mall, I went to labelscar.com to compare their 2001 photographs with my 2021 video, and I could not figure out where this picture of Joanne Fabrics was taken. I was stumped. It wasn't until I found Nathan Bush's photograph from 2013 that I solved the mystery. Sometime after 2013, management sealed off the entrance to the eastern anchor and separated it with a tenant that, in 2021, was a Moose's Lodge. The entrance was further obfuscated with the addition of this tiny tenant that once housed a dance studio. Based on Labelscar's photographs and Google Maps, I was able to determine that management changed the name of the mall from Skyline Mall to Skyline Plaza somewhere between 2001 and 2008. Despite the inner portion of the mall being separated from its tenants, the mall seemed to be doing all right. I filmed in January 2021 on Martin Luther King Day during the COVID pandemic, which made it difficult to get a real feel of the mall's state. The management was forbidding mall walkers, and the senior center was temporarily closed. However, I still saw people with business going in and out of the mall. Since I filmed on a Monday and holiday, a few shops were simply closed for the day. The mall seems to be doing, well, all right, with a mix of retail, office space, and a church. And despite a few empty storefronts, it did seem well lit and inviting. If you decide to visit the mall yourself, make sure you get there while the senior center isn't doing activities. I first visited on a road trip in 2019 and didn't get to check out the western part of the mall, as a bunch of seniors were exercising in the large open space outside the senior center. Thank you for joining me on this tour of Skyline Plaza in Albert Lea, Minnesota. I hope you have a good day. Take care.